My wife, 29, and I, 27, do well financially, so we decided to have our fourth child. Every single pregnancy we've been through, my wife has been a complete nightmare. Some things I can deal with, like waking up to the sound of her puking her guts out every morning, but when she starts demanding I go to the store every day to get her snacks or set up her foot bath thingy because her feet are swollen, I get a little impatient. I work way longer hours than her in a much more physically demanding profession. I'm a plumber. She's an engineer, so I think we're putting an equal amount of effort into this baby. And it's not like I don't help around the house, either. She does all the cooking and dishes, but I do laundry, take out garbage, and mow the lawn. We pay someone to do the floors and bathrooms weekly. My Mill comes over to help with the kids because she says I'm useless. I've been meaning to make a just normal post about her, and while I appreciate the help, I'm sick of her crap. Just because I want 1 hour of video games to myself a day instead of cleaning up messes in the kitchen doesn't mean I'm useless. This all came to head yesterday when my wife screamed at me from the kitchen to get off my butt and entertain our twins so she could focus on her meatloaf. I made a dumb joke about how this is the third meatloaf we'll be eating this week, and she lost her crap. She told me how I have no sympathy for the fact that she's pregnant. I should be taking on more of her chores since I can't breastfeed, but then I reminded her that I still work a lot more hours than her, so I think we're basically both pregnant. She got really quiet, and has only spoken to me regarding the kids since. I don't think I'm wrong, but I'll apologize to her if it makes her happy. Am I the idiot here? You are the idiot. You want to play video games instead of watching the kids. You're irritated by what your wife is making dinner. You think that things like waking up in the middle of the night because she's puking are analogous to waking up in the night to puke. You're a huge major idiot. Now, your wife needs to handle some things better, but this is a stupid way and stupid plan to think this will fix it. She's creating a living creature inside of her, and let me assure you that is way harder than whatever you have to do. Cooking and dishes are daily tasks. Mowing and taking out the garbage are much more infrequent tasks. I'll give minor props for laundry. So now that we've established she does more at home than you do, how about you drop the whole "I work more hours than she does" bit? You don't like having meatloaf for the third time that week. Then get up and make something different. And she was cooking and tending to twins. Have you ever been pregnant while also having 3 kids already? I only have 2 kids, but the second time around was much harder than the first. You're tired more. Things hurt more and much earlier too. I can't even imagine how tired I would be with 3 kids and another on the way. I also missed the part where you're physically carrying the child. You are the idiot. Other than the fact that she cooks and cleans daily while taking care of your kids and you sit back and complain, but you take out the trash and do the laundry. OFC. What a hero. You also clearly posted this because you wanted pity and not an honest answer, and it's very obvious by how you're not responding at all and instead downvoting everyone that calls you out for the sad excuse of a man that you are. You are the idiot, and your wife is clearly taking care of 4 children while pregnant. Good luck to her. I hope she does see this and make your life hell. I married my wife at least 12 years ago. She has a 16-year-old daughter, Anna, from her previous relationship, and we have a 7-year-old son as well. From pretty much the beginning of our relationship, Anna and I have never gotten along. I don't know how to emphasize that it is not because of a lack of trying. She just does not like me. When she was young, she was just scared of me and afraid I'd tear their family apart. Nowadays it's more of a neutral dislike rather than strong antipathy, so I suppose that's progress. Elise is a stay-at-home mother, so she relies on me for income. As a result, I pay for everything for Anna. Food, clothes, volleyball fees, field trips. I take an interest in her hobbies. I go to her games. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try my damn hardest to be the stepfather I can. But it's so hard. Always giving me curt one-word responses. Always having to have an attitude. She does things to get a rise out of me. Staying out late reeking of booze. Always trying to sneak boys in. Typical rebellious stuff. But I always let her know I love her and I'm there for her in hopes of her teenager phase pasts. The opposite is true for her biological father. She adores him. Can't tell you why. He never goes to her games, always makes excuses for why he doesn't want to see her. He forgot her birthday last month and she cried herself to sleep. Well, anyways, Friday, I came to her room to check her phone and read her messages, not a permanent thing, but she's been caught sneaking out twice in the last month, so this is her punishment. I ask for the phone. She says, "No, I'm tired of you checking my crap, leave me alone." I tell her I'm not asking again and she goes, "Just back off already." You're not my real dad. You never have been. Stop acting like you can tell me what to do, before getting up and slamming the door. Like I said, guys, I'm tired. Tired of the blatant disrespect. Of being the verbal punching bag while still providing more for her than anyone else in her family. We haven't really talked since until this morning during breakfast. She asked if I could pay for her plane tickets so she could see her boyfriend cross state. Like I said, her mom doesn't work and her dad is a POS, so I normally would be the one to cough up the money. Not this time. I responded, "Go ask your real dad." I could tell she was hurt. Tears swelled up from her face and she excused herself from the table. My wife took me aside later and said my comment was extremely disrespectful. I said if anything's disrespectful, it's her treating me like a doormat and a credit card, and I will no longer tolerate this treatment in my house. I told her we don't have to be friends, but if she can't at least be cordial to me or respect my position as an authority figure, she can find someone else to pay for her non-essentials. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but you barely mentioned your wife, her mother. Why is she not handling this with her daughter? You've been in her daughter's life since she was 4, as step-dad, and your wife has continued to let this fester. She's continued to let her daughter disrespect you and continue to mislead her daughter about her father's true character. This is all kinds of wrong. Maybe your daughter can have a first-hand look at how much words can hurt. I think you should go to her, apologize, never mind the fact she doesn't deserve it. You're the adult, be the bigger person, and set firm, fair, and strict rules about behavior going forward. Tell her what you told us, that you don't have to be friends, but you need her to respect your authority and at least be cordial to each other. Maybe ask her why she doesn't like you. Ask if there's anything you can do to support her better. And most importantly, remind her that you love her and will be there for her. Teenage girls are hard. Keep trying. A decade from now, she'll be grateful that you chose the high road. Everyone's the idiot here. Elise is an idiot for not dealing with this budding problem 12 years ago. Anna is an idiot for not appreciating the material things you provide. You are an idiot for stooping to Anna's level and claiming to not understand why she feels a connection to her biological father. I also take issue with you going through her phone. If you are genuinely concerned for her physical safety, talk it over with Elise and let Elise make the call. I think there are very few circumstances that justify violating someone's privacy, and from what you've written here it was more of a power move than anything else. I'll give some backstory first. My 18 mother, 50, is extremely clingy. I have no idea why, but she's always done this. I've always been the most independent out of all of my siblings, and therefore she is always trying to be in my business. I understand that she is my mother and I love that she cares about me, but there are times when I must draw the line. At my last job, she would demand I text her whenever I get to work and whenever I leave, which was extremely doable. However, sometimes I'd arrive a bit later than I wanted and would have to immediately begin to work. I wouldn't be able to text her and she would flip out every time, calling my phone 20 to 30 times and calling my siblings and father asking where I was. She began to call my work phone, which was extremely embarrassing for me because sometimes my boss would answer. Once when I was driving to work, my phone wasn't plugged into my Bluetooth and so I couldn't text or answer calls. She then called my boss's personal phone number, which I still have no clue how she got, and asked him about me. I was furious and told her if she'd just been patient for 5 minutes I would have answered, and she didn't get it. I'm always a perfect child and do everything she says and never get into any trouble, so I don't know what the obsession is about. The worst thing she did was call my boss's personal phone during the pandemic and tell him I couldn't come in because it was dangerous. I had to find out about this by getting my weekly schedule and thinking I was fired because I had no shifts. I had to learn from my boss, who was super nice about it, why I was off the schedule because my mom hadn't told me. It was the most embarrassing moment I've ever felt, and she didn't understand why I was pissed at her for it. With my new job, I've tried to set boundaries. I told her my job has her emergency contact and that I would text her when I arrived and left. She asked for my boss's name and the store address, which is fine, and then asked for his personal. I gave her a fake number. I told my sister about this and she told me I was being petty and wrong, but I don't think she understands what it's like to have none of your privacy respected. My mother even begged that she drive me to work on my first day while she waited in the car as if I'm a child. Her behavior is making me hate being around her, as well as refrain from telling her anything about my personal life. So am I an idiot for giving my mom a fake number so she doesn't embarrass me at work? Not the idiot, you're 18. Talk to your boss ASAP. Let them know you have a boundary-stomping mother and to please disregard anything she says or does. Maybe even offer her number to the boss so they can pre-block her number from their phone and the work phone. Sit down with your mom and explain that her actions are going to get you fired at worst and turn you into a laughing stock at best, and she needs to cut it out before she forces you to cut her out. I am a mom, 53, and none of this is okay. I think your mom needs therapy and you need to start gathering your valuable information, birth certificate, social security card, passport, and anything you really cherish, and see if you can store it at brother's or dad's house. And get your money saved to get your own place. You might have to go no contact if she can't accept this. A mom should support and celebrate your independence and success. She is sabotaging it and is concerned about herself, not you. This is selfish and bad for you. I hate to diagnose people over the internet, but I'm pretty sure your mom has an anxiety disorder. The problem with her, and you, trying to soothe her anxiety by always knowing exactly where you are, is that nothing you do for it will ever be enough. Because it's not even really about her desire to have access to you. The anxiety is the core part, and her attempts to have access and control you are strategies she is coming up with to make her anxiety feel better. Sadly, it's really hard to convince someone, especially a person who believes they are doing it out of love for you, that their strategies are counterproductive. My sister and I have always had a strained relationship. I usually just let things go and try to keep the peace. We both have sons who are around the same age. My nephew is 13 and my son just turned 11. For my son's birthday I bought him the new gaming system he has been wanting. He was absolutely thrilled and he plays non-stop. My sister is bad with money. I usually have to lend her money for bills and stuff for my nephew. I know my nephew doesn't always get the best Christmas gifts, so this year I went a little crazy and I purchased the same gaming system for him for Christmas. I already had it ready and wrapped under my tree. Yesterday my sister's family came to visit. My son asked me if they could go play video games. I said yes and reminded them to be careful. About 30 minutes later my son comes running to me crying. I asked him what was wrong and he led me to the front hall. When we get to the stairs I see the new system smashed on the floor. Someone had thrown it from the upstairs and it was now smashed to pieces. I asked my son what happened and he sobbed and pointed at his cousin. I asked my nephew if he did this and he started to laugh. He said that it was a stupid baby toy, and that he saw people break them online. My sister came in and I told her what happened. I explained that this was an expensive system and that her son needs to be disciplined for what he did. I told her I wanted her to pay for what her son broke. She laughed and said no. She says I shouldn't have let them play unsupervised. That it was my fault and that I am a bad parent. She said my son will get over it and that it was not important. Seeing my son sitting on the ground next to his broken system trying to put the pieces back together tore my heart out. I walked over to the Christmas tree and grabbed the system that was meant for my nephew. I pulled the gift wrap off and gave it to son and told him to go upstairs and set it up. My sister asked me why I was making such a big deal when I already had another one. I then laughed and told her that was her son's Christmas gift. That since it wasn't important and it was just a stupid baby toy, then they obviously won't miss it. I then told them to leave. My nephew realized what happened and began to cry that my son had stolen his system. I said no, his was the one that he smashed. My sister was livid and told me that I will never see them again. I just said okay and slammed the door. Other family members have now been calling me non-stop and saying I am an idiot and that I ruined my nephew's Christmas. I don't think so though. My nephew is 13. He is not a stupid kid and he knew what he was doing. I don't care that it was over jealousy. He is old enough to know better. My sister was not going to make the situation right, so I just did what I had to do. They all think I should buy another new system for him, but I don't have that kind of money. I'm starting to feel bad about this and I am wondering, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your nephew needs to learn that he can't just destroy whatever he wants and pretend like everything is fine. Don't get him a new console. He can get a nice pair of socks for Christmas. Your sister needs to take a parenting class. How could she laugh that her son threw your son's console down the stairs? I can absolutely see where your nephew gets his disregard for other people's feelings from. I bet your son is happy, and to be honest, that's all that matters here. Not the idiot. Clearly. I've read a few of these where kids of a certain age who should know better smash and damage something and the parents act like it's akin to rolling their eyes. Who lets their kids destroy things? Of course you're not an idiot. What 13-year-old needs to be supervised to keep them from destroying something? You're better off without their presence. I don't know that I'd have made a show of giving your son the new game console while they were still there, and from under the Christmas tree. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. But the nephew breaking your son's console just for the sake of being an idiot and your sister's reaction were wholly unacceptable. I personally wouldn't let them come back over to your house. I will turn 19 on Thanksgiving this year. My mother is extremely controlling. She doesn't think your birthday should be celebrated if it falls on a holiday. So myself and my older sister, 22, whose birthday is sometimes on Easter, will sometimes not be acknowledged at all because your birthday isn't a holiday. And she will kick people out if they wished us a happy birthday. It's ridiculous. This isn't even the most controlling thing she does. If you get upset, you're the problem and how dare you hurt her feelings. So my sister said she'd bring me a cupcake for my birthday that I could have after everyone left. My brother, 13, overheard and told my mother, and she kicked up a big fuss about it. She called my sister and they got into an argument, and now my sister isn't coming at all because my mother uninvited her. I miss my sister, so when she invited me to her place instead, I said yes. My brother tattled again and my mom tried to tell me I couldn't go. My sister has offered me a room in her apartment and I'm really tempted to move. I told my mother I was going and she couldn't stop me, and if she threatened to kick me out like she likes to do, I had somewhere to go, so let me know if I needed to start packing. She just sort of floundered for a minute before turning on the tears. I just walked away. She doesn't want me to move because she needs my extra help with my brother, like driving him places and keeping an eye on him. My brother said I was being an idiot, but I told him if he wasn't always such a tattletale this wouldn't be a problem. I then shut the door in his face. My sister is thrilled I stood up for myself, but I got a call from my grandmother, who is also controlling, saying I'm being ridiculous and I owe everyone an apology. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. If your sister has offered you a room, I encourage you to take it. You need to get out from your mother's thumb. I bet your brother won't think it's so funny when he doesn't have a ride anymore. Has your mother rewarded that kind of tattling before? I'm a parent and your mom is way off base. I think moving out would be a good idea. I suggest not closing the door on your relationship with your family though. Your brother may need you and your sister's help one day. Tell him, calmly and quietly, that you will help him too, if he asks for it. If he also bails, your mom might get the help she needs, provided she gets away from your grandma. Your mother sounds incredibly controlling and it seems like she only wants to keep you around to help out around the house. You're of legal age to live on your own, or, at least, not in the same house as your mother, so I highly recommend moving in with your sister as soon as you're able. It's likely things are only going to continue to get worse if you stay.